Hey viewers, this is Christian from Texas NIGHTSTALKERS Paintball, a scenario paintball team in Houston, Texas, and I'm here to talk to you guys in this first episode of 5 Minute Fridays about scenario paintball. Specifically to answer the question, what is a scenario paintball game? A scenario paintball game is a large-scale paintball game that's played over the course of a weekend, often starting on Thursday or Friday, with players showing up to the field and camping out, meeting players from other teams, hanging out, camping, having a good time. But come Saturday morning, there's usually a debriefing where the producer of the event will go over the rules and regulations, and then come usually 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, it is game on. So these games are played for several hours at a time, often, or at a smaller field. It might be a few hours at a time with small breaks in between. But often these games are played for several hours, and then there's a dinner break. And then players are back on the field for the next set of missions and objectives into the late night or into the evening. And then it is back again at it at Sunday morning until the early afternoon, where the event comes to a close and everyone comes back together and the commanders give out awards to special teams and players that deserve awards, such as most valuable team or most formidable opponent or most valuable player. So how do you win a scenario event? Well, you get points. So like any game, you have to rack up as many points as possible, and that defines the winner or loser of the event. You get these points by completing missions. So a mission might be, for instance, go to an objective and hold it for a certain amount of time. Or an objective might be to take a simulated demo charge and make a simulated explosion at an objective location. It really depends on the creativity of the producer and what the producer thinks is feasible for that event given the time and the space and the numbers. Ahead of the event, commanders will often go out and recruit teams such as ours, for instance, and use them for their experience to help represent them and play for them and help them win out on the field. Scenario teams can be found really in any state, especially ones that provide scenario games. So if you're interested in a scenario game, one of these large-scale paintball events, contact your local field and find out if any local fields are having one of these events, hosting an event, or if there are any local teams that play scenario paintball. So a little more about these events. These events usually have a theme. So you might see a World War I theme, or World War II theme, or a recreation of a battle, a famous battle, or it might be a theme that reflects current events. It might be a theme that reflects pop culture. Oftentimes when a big blockbuster movie is going to come out, some people have scenario games that have themes that are related to that movie. So for instance, I played Alien vs. Predator event. I played Star Wars event. I've played Halo event. I played a Tron event when the new Tron movie was coming out. I played well, the list goes on and on. You get the idea, right? It's to create interest in the event and get people hyped and interested in going. A lot of times, especially when it's a sci-fi or a fantasy kind of event, players will dress up or they'll cosplay a little bit and they'll have, weapon or gear or whatever, or look, attire that reflects the event, a costume that reflects the theme of the event. And so some players really get into that cosplay type of thing. That's the experience they enjoy out of the event. So that's cool too. If that's something you're interested in, that is definitely a component of a lot of these scenario games. You'll see props often used. Sometimes they're props provided by the producer of the scenario. Sometimes they're props made by the people playing or the teams. And then sometimes you'll see vehicles such as tanks that have their own rules. You see launchers that shoot Nerf rockets, much like the Nerf rocket that I have right over here. And they're used to take out tanks or other vehicles. You'll see role players within the game that have special abilities, such as medics, who can revive players on the field with the use of a medic card. And they'll have their own medic armbands to show that they're a medic. You may have heavy gunners if it's a mag-fed event. You might have shield guys. I've seen that in mag-fed events as well, that carry large riot shields. So, it goes on, and a lot of these events aren't necessarily exactly the same. A lot of them will have similar rules, especially if they're done by the same producer done by the same producer. They'll have very similar rules and guidelines, but the rules and guidelines might change depending on who's producing the event. So again, if you're interested in this kind of thing, reach out to your local field, find out who's playing and where they're playing. And if you're interested in asking us any questions, you can reach us at TexasNightStalkersPaintball@gmail.com or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So thanks. I'll see you guys next week on the next episode of 5 Minute Friday. Have a good weekend.